Another email. Sirs, we had another dog bite incident this morning. This is the second time. The second time the poor guy had been bitten. Another person was bitten twice on the arm. And that's an attack. So oftentimes in government, you find corruption at the high level with the destruction of Afghanistan, and at the low level with the lying about, relatively speaking, petty things, but I don't think this issue is necessarily petty, but the corruption usually is endemic. And we found this to be the case with a Secret Service lawsuit that we had filed. It was against the Department of Homeland Security. The Secret Service is a sub-agency about Joe Biden's dogs biting agents. And when we filed the lawsuit, of course, the liberal media made fun of us because how dare us ask any questions. Our concern was that we had federal agents, law enforcement personnel, who are risking their lives to defend the president, his family, visitors to the White House complex, and others who are being injured, and we don't know the details about it. So we sued, and I frankly couldn't believe the material we got. It's even worse than we thought. And we now know that the Biden White House was covering up the extent of what was going on. This is the headline. Secret Service records show Biden dog Major, remember he had two dogs, Major and Champ, repeatedly bit Secret Service personnel. At least 6 times by my count. 6 times. We were only told about 1 or 2 incidents by Jen Psaki, the White House spokesman. One email notes that the current rate, an agent or officer has been bitten every day this week. It was between the first week of March, the 1st through the 8th, causing damage to a tire or bruising punctures to the skin. So damage to a tire meaning they tore something. Documents show the agents were advised to protect their, quote, hands and fingers by placing them in their pockets. Photos of the dog bite injuries, of course, were withheld. They have pictures of the injuries. They didn't want to turn those over to us. So they were produced this week in response to a Judicial Watch FOIA request and lawsuit. And I mean, the documents are just awful in the sense that they describe, poor Major, who is probably a good dog, but, obviously he can't be at the White House or shouldn't have been at the White House. And he should have been kept away from people a lot sooner than he was. One email attached, this is a March 8th email. Attached are a couple of photos from the dog bites SA Special Agent blank had received the last week from the first family's pet, Major. And they go through all the bites. The bite caused some bruising. I see in the picture, the bite caused bruising and a puncture to the skin. I mean, we've all had dogs, and we've probably had or are aware of or run into dogs that are out of control. And Major was out of control. And a dog that punctures the skin is a dog that is, it's a major issue. Another email. Sirs, we had another dog bite incident this morning. This is the second time the poor guy had been bitten. Another person was bitten twice on the arm. And that's an attack. I mean, imagine your arm getting, I think back to, those videos you sometimes see of dogs being trained, attack dogs and security dogs being trained, and the guy is wearing a padded, pads, and the dog comes in and grabs the pad to be trained. Well, that's what the poor guy suffered, or gal, I don't know. Poor Champ didn't make it out. There's a funny line in there about Champ doing some business in the White House carpet. One of the incidents, by the way, occurred while the dog was under control of the protectee, which I take to mean President Biden. This is the question: who was minding the pets, protected or residence usher staff? Resident/usher staff. Agent responds, protectee. Usher was there as well. So it happened in front of the president. or Jill. I don't know if the protectee is Jill or the president. I mean, Jill Biden, First Lady. For your situational awareness, White House Medical Unit responded to the South Portico a short time. Uniform Division White House report of a pass holder with a dog bite. Got treated in the doctor's office. So the emails go on and on like this. You know, and as I said, I'm sure Major is a good dog. I'm sure Major is a good dog. But these records show he was involved in many more biting incidents than the Biden White House has publicly acknowledged. And it's disturbing to see a White House cover-up of numerous injuries to Secret Service and White House personnel by the Biden family pet.
Yesterday, the conservative transparency group, Judicial Watch, released Secret Service records on dog bites involving the first dog, Major. One email said that Secret Service agents were bitten every single day for 8 days from March 1st to March 8th, and that a White House visitor was as well. At a March 9th briefing, you only described one biting incident to us and described the dogs as being whisked back to Delaware on a pre-planned trip to visit family friends. Obviously, that is not the world's most important story, but it is significant because we expect honest information even for minor stories. So can you explain to us why there was a kind of misleading account presented to us? And if we can't get honest information about minor stories, why should we have faith in the administration's account for larger issues like Afghanistan?
I know you do keep the dog in the news in the briefing room, so thank you for that. As we've stated previously, Major has had some challenges adjusting to life in the White House. He has been receiving additional training, as well as spending some time in Delaware, where the environment is more familiar to him and he is more comfortable. I don't have any additional specifics, but I think that speaks to where Major is located, to be fully transparent in your ongoing interest in the dog.
As you can see, Jennifer Psaki was asked about this. And, you know, the reporter is making the clip point is, you know, if you lie about the small stuff, why should we believe you on the big stuff, meaning Afghanistan? And of course, she, as you saw or will see, that she sloughed off the question. She thought it was not an important question. And I'm sure the reporter is going to get attacked for daring to ask about this cover-up. But you had numerous Secret Service agents injured by this poor dog. And they covered it up, and we uncovered it. So just a little mini scandal in the Biden White House that kind of tells you about the way they think. People get hurt and they lie about it or cover it up. And law enforcement got hurt and they lied about it and covered it up. And yes, you don't have to, you can by omitting facts, that is lying. If the facts are material, lying by omission. So that's what happened here. And of course, it's Judicial Watch that did the basic work on this new Biden scandal.